giving you useful and practical tips to help you make more money selling travel. This is the Art of Selling Travel Podcast, and here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Art of Selling Travel Podcast. I am your host, and I have a topic for you today that perhaps you might not or might have expected. I can't wait to hear the comments on this one. So definitely join me over in the Facebook group. I'll link it up in the show notes, or come hit me up on Instagram, Art of Selling Travel, or simply send me an email, glenda@artofsellingtravel.com. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. So here's the scoop. I am not doing a Black Friday deal. I actually got an email from somebody randomly, or was it an email? I don't know. I got an invite from somebody. I don't really know this person. And they're like, can you send me any Black Friday deals that you've got going on so I can send them out? And we're not doing Black Friday deals. So I know that might seem counterintuitive, but I want to talk about it. So let's first off talk about why I'm not doing anything for Black Friday and why this might be something that you want to keep in the back of your mind, because already I'm seeing different Facebook groups going crazy. What are you going to do for Black Friday? What are you going to do? This, that, the other. But there's also so much where we hit Thursday of Black Friday week, Thanksgiving, obviously in the US, and everybody's like, OMG, what am I going to do? Or they wake up Friday morning and they're like, everybody else is doing Black Friday deal. I guess I should do one too. Well, not necessarily. Like, in fact, there's a good chance that maybe you shouldn't be doing a Black Friday sale. So here's the deal. Deals, promos, everything need to be a part of your overall marketing and sales strategy. Because if it's not a part of your overall strategy, then it's all for nothing. It ends up becoming more noise added to an incredibly noisy space. For my business, I don't want to be in the business of discounting. That being said, will I have promos or promotions? Absolutely. Will I put out courses or trainings or things like that where they have a limited time bonus? I'm always going to avoid, whenever possible, doing it as a price-driven bonus. That being said, if you are listening to this in the week that this episode dropped, I have my Objections Live workshop coming up this weekend, and there is going to be a promo. It's going to be a lower cost than what the future investment price of this program will be, because it's the first time we're running it. It's not that I'm quote unquote discounting. It's just that to me, this is an introductory price, and we're going to increase it as we see more and more success come in. The more results we get, the more success we have, the higher the price, because it becomes more proven. Obviously, that's not the way it works in travel. And that's why I think it's so important to understand the difference between what's a deal, what's a promo, and what's actually part of a marketing strategy. Here's the scoop. When a supplier puts something on promo, it's because they've long thought it out. It's a part of their long-term. Now, part of that strategy might be the fact that when they hit certain dates from departure and they're at certain occupancy levels, yeah, they're going to drop the price or this, that, the other. But it's not that they just willy-nilly wake up one morning and go, I feel like doing a deal. No, it is part of payloads and inventory control and all of these other sorts of things that they factor in. There is all sorts of algorithms that go into it. It's not because they wake up and go, oh my goodness, that supplier is offering a promo. We need to offer a promo. And so it's really important to know what it is that you're going to put out there. Here's the thing. The biggest piece of your marketing, the biggest piece of telling your clients what it's like to work with you is pricing. Because when you're competing for that cheapest price, that discount, you want to be this, that, the other, you're telling people that you're cheap and you're a discount. I don't know about you. Like, I love me a good deal, but I don't want to work with cheap. And I don't want to work with the bargain hunter basement, you know. I want to work with somebody who's going to provide me excellent value for what I pay, where I am getting something in return for what they're giving, if that makes sense. So, as part of that, I don't want my business to be driven on price. I know without question, without hesitation, what my programs can offer. I know that the fees experience that we did last month was incredible because I've talked with the people who participated in it. We've worked on the follow up questions. We've talked through all of those sorts of things. And that lets me know what they're thinking of it, lets me see it, lets me hear it. I am super excited to see the way that they're charging fees, the way that they're growing their fees, all of that sort of thing. That excites me. Now, is that program for everybody? No. Because one, if you are already through the roof, you are charging like the top dollar in the industry, you probably don't need to hear anything from me. But at the same time, those are also the people who are continuing to educate themselves because they want to stay at the front of the pack. And if you are somebody who I'm never going to change your mind, well, then you're not the one I want either. But yet, if I was to put that on a super low deal, super low discount, I would end up attracting the people who are like, yeah, well, for $10, I can totally take this and then tell you why you're dumb and not. No, that's not the people I want. So everything I choose about my pricing is based on the type of client I want to attract. I want to keep the value high so that people get more than they've invested. Does that mean my products are free or quote unquote cheap? Not necessarily. Well, there's a lot of free content. Hello, you're listening to my podcast. It's free. You're not paying for that. But there's a lot of programs that I put out that I do assign a price tag for. And so it's finding what we call the tipping point. Where is it going to create more value than you're investing, but yet that it's going to attract the people who are truly serious about the investments that they're making in their business? That might be $47. It might be $97. It might be $997, or it might be $5,000. It all depends on the product, the program, the outcome. So obviously, this is very geared towards my business. And the whole concept of this podcast is to gear it towards yours. So I'm going to tell you why the Black Friday deals might not help you in your business either. Just like I don't want to attract a discount client, I suspect you don't want to either. If somebody's choosing my program based on whether or not it costs more or less than somebody else's program, that's not my ideal client. I want somebody to choose to go through my programs based on the outcomes, based on the results that they're going to get, based on whether or not it's the right thing for their business at the time. I've said it before, when I ran Curious to Booked back in September, there were people that I told, you're not ready for this, or you're already beyond this. There were people I said, I'm not going to prevent you from spending your money with me, but I'm also going to tell you whether or not you're right fit. And there were some that were not the right fit yet. And so I always want to make sure that I'm setting things up so that my clients get success. And that was the same when I was selling travel. Not everybody was my ideal client. And if I went entirely on price, it makes it a whole lot harder to weed them out. But yet when I would charge fees, or I didn't necessarily go for the cheapest. Let's be honest, a lot of those like Black Friday deals, they're for the hotel rooms that the hotels can't sell. They're for the room categories that nobody else wants. So while they make really good clickbait, there's a lot of people doing clickbait. There's a lot of things to make your clients click on it. There's a lot of things to keep everybody distracted with shiny objects. And you could choose to join this shiny object factor, but that was never how I wanted my travel agency to go. Instead, the way that I did Black Friday was, it's the 1st of November. Happy anniversary to my husband, by the way. But the thing is, though, is that the way I did it was I would start talking with my clients this week possibly even last week, and start saying, okay, so now as we're getting closer towards booking what you want to do for the next year or whatever, let's have a really good conversation about this. Because while there may be some Black Friday deals, I really want to make sure we're going to get you the right trip. And so it would start the conversation. But here's something really interesting. Again, remember how I said a lot of those Black Friday deals are on room categories nobody actually wants? It also allowed me to start having conversations. So my busier part of my booking window, if you will, was actually in the first half of November, not the last half, not during the Black Friday deals. Why? Because when I proactively reached out to my clients to say, hey, before everything gets crazy as we get towards Black Friday and whatnot, let's start talking about what it is you're looking for. What if what they're looking for doesn't exist on a Black Friday deal? What if it's something that's never going to be a part of that? Why would we want to make that something that they put off until then? Or continue to have everybody confused and distracted and all of that. So instead, by having the conversation with them now, what am I doing? One, I'm building trust with them because I'm saying I'm looking out for your best interest. Two, I'm getting them ahead of the curve. I'm having these conversations before the conversation is solely about money. Because when a client would come to me and they're like, well, actually, we decided we weren't going to do a winter vacation this year. We want to go to the Mediterranean instead. We want to do a cruise, or we want to go explore Italy, or we want to do this, that, or the other. Well, guess what? A lot of those types of trips aren't going to be on Black Friday. Instead of doing this, we want to do that. Or we were looking at this and it's like, oh, well, for your dates, that's going to be a part of a Black Friday blackout. Like if you're wanting to go during reading week, you're wanting to go during Christmas. Christmas isn't a part of Black Friday deals, especially in a post-COVID world. So you're able to have those conversations and get them going before that big flood of people during the Black Friday. You're able to do it at a pace without all of the crazy noise. It was incredibly hard to sell during that last week in November when everybody's like, well, what about this deal? What about this deal? What about this deal? I spent my entire week going, that's not what you're after. You're not going to like that. That's not what it says. That's not what it looks like. It's not as good as what you think it like. All of the things that are not going to make it a good choice for my clients. So you could choose to go down the clickbait route and post all about the Black Friday, or you could choose to do what's in the best interest of your clients. Maybe there's something that fits within the Black Friday realm, but wouldn't it be better to know about it this week so that you can keep an eye on it, to keep your finger on your clients? That way, when your clients are going through all of these Black Friday deals that's filling their newsfeed, and trust me, their newsfeed will be packed. Please don't do marketing don't do paid ads during that time. Did you know from basically this time of year, like Black Friday-ish area until the new year is one of the most expensive times to run paid ads on digital. Unless you have endless amounts of money, don't do it. One, it's going to cost more than it ever does. Two, you're just adding to a noisy place that already exists. And three, depending what your outcome is, you might not even be doing it in a way that's going to connect. I can't tell you lately how many travel advisor pages get fed into my newsfeed as a sponsored ad. And some of them, it's legitimately just the name of the page. There's no actual ad there. I have no idea why these people are paying the money they're paying to fill my newsfeed, and they're not even telling me anything. At the same time, seeing as how I'm chasing a squirrel, nobody wants to join your newsletter. Stop running ads that say, join my newsletter. At the very least, you've got to offer them some sort of freebie, some sort of something that's going to solve one of their problems. but nobody wants on your newsletter. If I said, hey, head on over to my website and sign up for my newsletter, you'd be like, no, I get enough emails. Like, I'm in the travel industry. I totally get enough emails. But when I make things juicy enough, like if you want to be the first to know this, if you want my guide on this, if you want part of this, or you want this, or you want that, or whatever it is, there's a good chance you're going to opt in. On my website, I have all sorts of opt-in forms. When you join my Facebook group, you have the option. I am going to use the word option because I let people in who don't put down their email address for future marketing. But you got to answer at least like that you'll abide by the rules. And I really want you to put in the obstacle. But I will let you in without putting down your email address. Just don't tell anybody that I told you that. But here's the scoop. There's so many places where you can opt in to be on my list, but you're not going to hear me say, hey, to join my email list, because nobody wants to be on your email list. Okay, that was a bit of a squirrel. But when you are looking at what you're going to do for marketing, and Black Friday is a part of that, you've got to look at what are the sales outcomes you want to be. When I look at the obstacles of the people that are entering the Facebook group, it's how do I get new clients? How do I get away from discounts? How do I get away from clients that are only looking for deals? They're only competing on price. They're It's all of these things over and over and over again. So the question becomes, what if what you're putting out there by chasing the Black Friday deals, by chasing this deal, by chasing that deal, your marketing is screwing over your sales potential? What if everything you're putting out is generic and price driven and is completely not showcasing who you serve, how you help them, and what problems you solve? When we're trying to figure out how do we get people to book with us? How do we get people to hire us? How do we get people to work with us? We've got to look at all the reasons, one, that they're not booking travel to begin with. You know, it seems really easy to go after the DIYers that are going to want to book everything, but here's the scoop. They're happy DIYing for the most part. Let's talk to the people who aren't already DIYing, that are looking to be able to go, but they don't know where to start. What if your freebie was how to get started booking the vacation of your dreams? And frankly, it just it gave them a quick, short couple of steps, and then it went to a schedule a call section. You know, we've got to be really thoughtful in terms of what we're saying. Sales begins from the first interaction with our clients. How do we make our clients feel? This morning, I was at a meeting for a women in business group that I sit on the board for, and they put out proposed marketing for what's going to be coming. And it said, join us for this enlightening presentation. I'm like, get rid of that. Nobody wants to join for enlightening presentations. That's not what the presentation was. It wasn't intended to be enlightening. In fact, the presentation coming up is going to be all about burnout. But at the same time, nobody resonates with the word burnout because, or at least I didn't. And I know I'm similar to a lot of others. I didn't think I was burnt out. I thought that was for weak people who couldn't handle it. I thought that was for all of this, that it was for everybody else. I was strong. I could do it. And I was saying to the person today, I was on either month 2 or 3 of not getting out of my bed before I actually went, oh, is this what burnout is? Because I had no idea what it looked like, because I always thought it was for somebody else. When we're putting things out and we want people to take action, like buying from us, retaining our services, hiring us, booking with us, whatever term you want to use, we've got to put it in words that connect to them. And so if all you're doing is Black Friday, deal, discount, this is on sale, are you actually connecting with them? Or are you just adding to this overwhelming amount of noise? My goal for you is to become incredibly successful and even more profitable. I want you to be wildly profitable. But you're not going to get there in the discount world. You're not going to get there by cutting your own fees, by worrying about what is your markup. Set your non-negotiables. Know that if you are never going to sell a basic lead-in room, then why, when Black Friday comes along, is that going to be what you market? You set what you're willing to sell. You set the minimums of what you're willing to provide for your clients. Don't compromise your marketing for something that might get you an extra click. Don't compromise what your sales strategy is for an instant gratification of somebody inquiring who probably isn't even going to book with you, because the moment you start competing on price, you're done. Because unless you are the cheapest, there is no trophy for being the second cheapest. I don't know about you. I don't want micromanaging clients. I don't want clients who are going to micromanage me from start to finish. That includes in my programming. But when I sold travel full time, that was the last client that I wanted. I wanted clients who understood the value I brought to the table. Interestingly enough, we're going to talk about this in the Facebook group this week, because the topic is how to get people to see the value in using a travel advisor. Well, the fastest way to get people to see a value in travel advisor is to see value in yourself. Because the moment you value and know beyond a shadow of a doubt the value you're bringing, your clients feel it. I was chatting with a business mentor earlier today, and I told her about the project that I'm bringing forward in 2024. Oh my God, you guys, I can't wait. Oh, I am like vibrating to be able to tell you the details, but I can't yet. But I was explaining to her what it is, what I'm doing. And she's like, I have goosebumps. And then she jumped up and she gave me this really big hug. And she's like, I see it. It's happening. I want that for each and every one of you. And it's not through micromanaged clients. It's not through discount clients that it's going to happen. It's going to happen through knowing what are your minimums. What is the barrier you're never going to go below? I've also seen in some groups where travel advisors are suggesting to waive your fees for Black Friday. Don't do that. Frankly, I'd double them. That'd be my Black Friday deal. I'm going to give you even better service, even better attention. But I won't be offering a Black Friday deal. So if you're looking for one from me, it's not going to happen. If you're listening to this the week that it issued, go check out the objections experience. It is at an introductory rate that's never going to be repeated. Might even come with a bonus in there. But trust me, you're going to want to be a part of it. But as for Black Friday, no, you're not going to see me on there. I might have a couple of short clips and things like that I put on, but there's not going to be any deals. I do not have products or programs that I'm even offering at that time, simply because the noise is too loud. Incredibly busy, profitable travel advisors probably won't even know that Black Friday exists, because they are going to be so crazy busy. They're going to be going flat out. And just so we're clear, that includes, Shop Local Saturday and Cyber Mondays. All part of it. It's one thing to have a strategy that you want to hammer in a promotion, that you want to do that. But what does it look like? Do you want to just add to the noise? Or are you going to do something like reaching out to your clients now to say, you know what, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that's going to be coming. I would love to keep an eye out for you. So let's talk about what you want to do. Oh, well, that's not actually going to probably hit the sales. So why don't we start working on that now? before all the space is gone on the flights or the this or the that. Don't make your clients wait and wade through all the noise. Cut through the noise for them and reach out to them. Ask how you can help them. Ask how you can get them set up for success. Because here's the deal. When you make your clients' life easier, when you solve their problems, they are going to in turn buy from you. Okay, we will be back here next week. Until then, happy selling.